This is Today in St. Louis, focused on you.
We begin this morning with a live look at Lambert Airport. The roads are slick outside, folks, thanks in part to some rain that has left the bi-state just a little damp. As you can see, the flights are quiet out there for the moment.
And it wasn't just raining outside. Dylan from Deloge sent us this video of quarter-size hail in his yard. Take a look. So if you're waking up to some maybe overnight damage or have got video of the lightning, we certainly want to see it. You can text us at 314-425-5355.
Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, February the 16th. I'm Rennie Knott.
And I'm Michelle Lee. Of course, we want to say thank you for joining us, including those of you who might be watching us on 5+ this morning. It has been an interesting morning, especially if you get up on those, dark 30 hours like we did.
Yes.
The roads were a little slick.
A little slick, and this was one of those mornings where I heard thunder and thought, oh wow, I forgot how loud it was because there were a few rumbles of it.
Or the
working way
lightning.
through, St. Louis this morning, even on our drive in, you saw it still lighting up the sky. So yes, we're done with it though for now. So the wet roads will still linger, but the active rain coming out of the sky is done. That has moved away from us, and that severe weather risk stayed mainly south as we were thinking. You saw that hail from Deloge. There was even some reports in Festus, but for the most part, we did not have that in St. Louis, and that's what we were expecting. But you can see down to our south, still lit up there across parts of Arkansas and Tennessee. For us, the rain has come and gone. It's already moved into Indiana, so we are drying out as we speak. And you may get another little shower between now and 10 o'clock, but it will be brief if it does happen. Numbers today, just colder. Highs only near 40 degrees. Now, as we go into the overnight hours, we're back into the 20s, so winter is back. And even through tomorrow. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. All right, let's head over to Gary, get an update on the roads. It seems like even with the rain, we've been okay. Any incidents right now?
Not too many incidents right now. It's been quiet. We've only had one incident so far this morning as we look at 55 north of Merrimack Bottom. People are moving pretty smoothly, but roads are wet everywhere. And you may occasionally run into a spot where there's water on the roadway or some of those low-lying areas. But as far as rain, as Anthony mentioned, the storm moves so quickly. Metro East, it's quiet right now. North County, it's quiet. But for the most part, as we just look at some of this radar estimated precipitation just along 64 and 44, most of these areas about 1/4 of an inch to 1/3 of an inch of rain. So the low-lying areas collecting that because it's been damp for just a dry day in between this rain, but we aren't seeing too many issues with ponding on the roadways as things start to dry now just because of how quickly the rain moves. We'll update you on traffic conditions and anything that develops the rest of the 6 o'clock hour.
All right, thanks so much, Gary. Breaking right now, firefighters are battling the flames at a warehouse fire in Kirkwood. We know that this started just a few hours ago, and that scene is still pretty active.
Yeah, our Sydney Stallworth is live on location there, and for a while there this morning, we could barely see her through the smoke. Sydney, you've been there for about 30 minutes. What have you been able to see so far?
Well, Rennie and Michelle, in the past 30 minutes, this warehouse fire has progressed to a 4th alarm fire with multiple departments responding. Now, responders on the scene have told our crew that it appears no one was inside the warehouse when the fire started, but firefighters have been on the ground working for at least 3 hours now. I want to give you a look at what we see here. Now, this fire started around 3 o'clock this morning here on Leffingwell Avenue near Park Avenue. We're also told that this fire is happening at Dale Printing Company. We're told the fire is in the back of the warehouse, which is where we are now. That's where printing presses and paper are stored. Firefighters are at the base of the building, if you can see them, because there's quite a bit of smoke in the air, you guys. And some firefighters are also on the roof using cranes of the truck. There are multiple departments here. Like I said, this has progressed to a 4th alarm fire. West County EMA and fire is on the scene. I actually just spoke with a responder from that crew within the past 30 minutes, and he told me that there are small pockets of fire that crews are working to put out inside the warehouse. Crestwood Fire Department, Brentwood, Valley Park, Kirkwood, and Glendale are also on the scene. And you can literally see the dozens of fire trucks from the westbound lanes of I-44 as we made our way here at the Big Bend exit and smell the smoke from blocks away. Now, as you can see, the crews are still actively working. West County EMA actually just suited up. They're ready in case they need to go inside, is what they told me about 5 minutes ago. We have no word on what sparked this fire and if there were any injuries, but like I said earlier, responders did tell us that it doesn't appear anyone was inside the warehouse at the start of this fire. Reporting live in Kirkwood, I'm Sydney Stallworth, 5 on your side.
Thanks so much, Sydney. Be safe, of course. That is not the only overnight fire that we're following this morning. This is what it looked like in Cahokia Heights a few hours ago on Musette Lane. The fire started around the same time as the warehouse fire in Kirkwood, which was around 3 o'clock this morning. 2 homes caught fire. Firefighters not only had to battle the flames, but that heavy downpour.
This morning, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland and St. Louis Mayor Tishaura Jones will speak at a first-of-its-kind conference aimed at cutting down crime. Top law enforcement officers and political officials are meeting in St. Louis this week. AG Garland will be the first speaker today. He'll talk about the $100 million federal grant program aimed at supporting community-driven safety solutions and reducing gun violence. The safety conference started yesterday. St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy talked about how law enforcement needs community support.
Because we can't do it alone, we know that, and the successes that we've had in the place and the successes that we're going to have here in St. Louis are going to be done because of the work that we're doing together, especially with community violence intervention.
This safety meeting comes following a deadly double shooting in North St. Louis. A woman was found dead and a man was shot last night at 6:30 on Margaretta. This marks the city's 19th homicide so far this year. Opening remarks for the summit will begin this morning at 9 o'clock.
I'm Byron Townsend. Police now say one of 3 teens who escaped from this juvenile detention center in North St. Louis County on Monday was involved in a crime spree. About 48 hours later, investigators say the boy was one of 2 teens witnesses spotted breaking into cars in the parking lot of an apartment complex in O'Fallon, Missouri on Wednesday morning. The teens took off. Officers chased them. A pursuit ended at I-270 and Big Bend in Kirkwood when the car went airborne, caught fire, and crashed. The 2 16-year-olds were taken to a hospital. They are now facing charges.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is scheduled to visit an East St. Louis preschool today. This is all a part of his push to make early childhood learning available to all. And Alex Fees is live this morning on the riverfront with details.
Michelle, good morning. Pritzker is scheduled to visit Vivian Adams Early Childhood Center today. That should happen at around noon. There, the governor will detail the plan that he outlined yesterday in his State of the State address in Springfield. Now, Pritzker unveiled a plan to offer free preschool for 3- and 4-year-olds. Pritzker calls the plan Smart Start and says the 4-year plan will allow access to preschool for every 3- and 4-year-old in the state. It's comprised of 4 elements: pre-K, child care, early intervention, and home visiting. The plan also aims to make existing programs more equitable, give moderate income families greater access to quality programs, and invest in an early childhood workforce made up largely of women and people of color. It will also increase funding for the Early Childhood Block Grant Program this year by $75 million. The governor is counting on the state's economic growth to continue, while Republicans warn the threat of a recession is still on the horizon.
Getting our fiscal house in order is improving our economy, which crossed the threshold of $1 trillion in GDP at the end of last year.
While we are on better financial footing, I want to make sure that we are preparing for the next downturn.
Now, coming up in our 6:30 half hour, the other plan that Pritzker outlined yesterday, which could lead to free community college in the state. Live this morning in St. Louis, Alex Fees, 5 on your side.
Thank you, Alex. In just a few hours from right now, several St. Louis organizations will unveil a permanent art installation outside of City Park Stadium. It's called the Pillars of the Valley. It honors a once thriving black neighborhood of St. Louis, known as the St. Louis Mills Creek Valley in downtown West area. The neighborhood was demolished in the 1950s for urban renewal. The unveiling ceremony starts this morning at 10 o'clock. And this morning, we want to take time out to honor black Americans who forged a path forward in our country. This morning, we play tribute to a distinguished group of World War II pilots known as the Tuskegee Airmen, the first black pilots to fly in the U.S. military. The airmen flew 312 missions, with the majority of them escorting American bombers. The Tuskegee Airmen received the Congressional Gold Medal in 2007.
All right, just about 6:10 here on your Thursday on our Weather First forecast. Starting off a little damp, the rain has come to an end in St. Louis. So aside from just mist and drizzle, we are done with the severe weather threat and the heavy downpours. As we go through the morning, the colder air starts to filter on in. Snow showers will be flying today across northern Missouri, north central Illinois, even through the overnight hours into Chicago. Our weekend forecast looks just fine. A busy weekend for Mardi Gras, especially on Saturday for the parade. Starting off cold, 20s in the morning, but a nice rebound, 50s and even 60 degrees on Sunday. We do have more rain in the extended forecast. We'll see you guys in just a little bit.